Good morning, my impatience. It is I, Andrew the Android Koloski here, and I'm ready to perform for all of you. How art thou? How art thou? Somebody said, Andrew, it's 7:30 in the morning. What are you doing up this early in the morning? The only reason this person's even up to begin with is because they're getting ready for work. Well, I typically actually every day get up at 5:30 a.m. because that's just the time I typically get up. But to go to the gym. But today the reason I'm getting up is because I'm going to NAMI, which is early. So I'm going to NAMI this morning, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Din, 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 din. So what is going on in the world today? Well, apparently TikTok, the social media platform, is getting banned in a day or so. I mean, they might extend it or they might sell it, but apparently there's big issue. Hey, Cinnamon puked like this. Bleh. Patrick is disappointed in you, Andrew. I guess Patrick's disappointed in me because I'm fighting with my father over the Lamictal. I did take it last night. I took the Lamictal last night, and to be honest with you, my father is, kind of pressuring me into taking it again tonight. Somebody says, you need to take the medications because you need to realize they're keeping you well, and you want to take them for you, not because your parents, obviously are forcing you to take them. So, you need to say to yourself, the medications make me healthy. I want to take them because I want to take them. I want to be stable with my mood, not because my mother and father want me to take it, But yeah, no, I haven't. I took the medication last night. I took it 2 or 3 days ago, and I haven't skipped tonight's dose yet. But yeah, no, like I said, obviously, it could be problematic. Yeah, just. Yeah, the only thing I didn't actually miss the dose yet, so there's nothing to be disappointed about except the fact that I'm giving my parents a hard time about it. I know Rusty said, Andrew, you don't see how unwell you are, and you don't see how much you really need the medications. Obviously, I think, the medications are unnecessary. I don't need the medications. But some people say, Andrew, no, you really need the medications. So. Patrick says, taking it last night, today is today. You won't even give the meds a chance. That's why I'm disappointed. Cinnamon asks me, can you leave YouTube? I mean, I've deleted my YouTube in the past for a variety of reasons. Once in 18, because, somebody wanted to go on a date and I wanted to, clean up my social media. I deleted it again another time. And I could delete my YouTube, but I don't want to. Maybe I'm a social media addict. Maybe secretly I'm hoping it's my ticket to superstardom, riches, and fame. I guess I could delete it, but also I think it's my ticket to superstardom. Patrick says, time to grow up, Andrew. These videos aren't getting you anywhere. This isn't your ticket to riches and fame. This is your ticket to pouring your life down the drain. Patrick says, even if you deleted your YouTube, you'd be back in like a day, You'd respawn like a video game, You'd respawn like a video game. So you're very much. So somebody asked me if I could pick one movie star or pop superstar to sleep with, who would it be? Ooh, that's kind of that's kind of a loaded question. I don't want to name I don't want to name names because I don't want to but yeah, I'm not going to answer that question because if you start mentioning people who actually exist in real life, they might have a problem with you saying, "Oh, I want to sleep with them," So um, I'm just going to say some fictional character. I'm just going to say Samantha Mint, the fictional pop superstar. No, no, I was asked that question on my Samantha Mint pop superstar video. Um, Patrick says, I want you to succeed and do well, but you're determined like hell to not improve your health and life. I'm going through my comments to Spark. Um, but let's put it this way. If people want to know, I'd probably pick some pop superstar, but, I'm not going to name names here. Somebody says, it doesn't matter what your parents say or do, you will find a way to twist it into, and they can't win with you. Yeah, so I'm going to. Somebody says, "Can we see your hairline?" Yeah. Do you think it's receding? I mean, I am approaching 40. You think it goes up like a smiley face? It's not too bad. I mean, I see a lot of people who are 37 years old about my age, and they have much worse hairlines than me. I mean, if it's receding, it's not receding too badly, but. Patrick says, if you don't take the Lamictal tonight, I suggest you leave the house tonight. Give your parents a break and let them live their golden years in peace. Fair enough, Patrick. Fair enough. Rusty says, you don't even see how sick you are right now. And Patrick says he doesn't want to see how sick he is either. All right, guys. Hey, Gina, how you doing? Good morning, Gina. She's the one who asked me if I could get intimate with a pop superstar. Which pop superstar would I get intimate with? And, I don't want to mention anybody by name, but, there are definitely some attractive movie stars and pop superstars. But, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, so to speak. So I'm going to say if I could cuddle and get intimate with one movie star or pop superstar, it would be Samantha Mint, my fictional pop superstar who I created. Gina's getting some cleaning done. Where is it where you are? It's 7:47. 7:47. That's like an airline. It's 7:47 a.m. here. Somebody says, "What does Samantha Mint look like?" Oh, she's a breathtakingly good-looking model who looks picture perfect, picturesque, like the picture perfect pop superstar. Like a, I don't want to mention like a Barbie doll, kind of. Samantha Mint. Oh, Gina says it's 7:47 a.m. where she is too. All right, fair enough. I guess you're getting an early start on the day. Yeah, Patrick says stop being hyper focused and fixated on sex and focus on your mental health and recovery. Okay, Patrick. Fair enough. Patrick says clearly he's thinking and fantasizing about Sabrina Carpenter. No, that's not true necessarily. I think Sabrina Carpenter is very attractive, but that's not who I was thinking of. In fact, I mean, there's lots of attractive pop superstars, and they all act sexy. And there's lots of pop superstars and movie stars who I would like to get intimate with. There's nobody in particular, I mean, a lot of them, sell sexiness. A lot of them, act all sexy, and they sell their seductive sexiness. A lot of people like want, that's the whole point. That it's sex appeal. They're trying to act like sexy and be desirable and rock and roll kind of. That's what they're doing. A lot of them, at least. Patrick says, fair enough means I'm not listening to you. Okay, Patrick. Fair enough. Cinnamon wants to know, do you like red licorice or black licorice? I like them both. Black licorice is good, and I also like red licorice. Why do you ask? Licorice. Cinnamon says, I like red. I like red licorice. That's great, Cinnamon. That's great. Splurge Lord says, dude, get a life. Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. They say focus on mental health recovery and get a life. Get a life. Get off social media. Give up your fantasy world. Give up the pipe dream and live in the real world, as they say. Get a life. Get a life. Patrick says, Andrew, do you know why I know you're never going to get better? Why? Why do you think I'm never going to get better, Patrick? Because I'm refusing to take my medication? I think why? Because I'm refusing to take my medication, or because I'm incapable. What's your rationale for why I'm not going to get better? Because it's not even 8 a.m. in the morning, and you're already live streaming, and you're refusing meds, and you're refusing to socialize. Well, the reason I'm up so early and live streaming is because I'm getting ready for NAMI. I'm going to NAMI today, early in the morning. There's an early morning NAMI pros combination that I'm going to. So actually, I'm live streaming so I can live in the real world today. Well, I'm not. The reason I'm live streaming is because I'm getting ready to leave to go someplace where I'm going to socially engage in the mental health community. So I just, unfortunately, things work on schedule. It takes place at 11 a.m. and I have to drive. But but the reason I'm up is because I'm going to NAMI. Somebody says NAMI isn't really doing anything for you. That's not really true. It's socialization. It's getting out. It's interpersonal relationships. I've made progress. I've made friends. It is doing something for me, but I also need more. The art class is definitely doing something for me. Imagine I wasn't going to NAMI. I'd just be sitting solitary and alone those days too. So it's doing something, but it's not enough. Somebody said, no, I think the people at the art class, he says I alienate people at the programs. No, that's not true. I have friends and acquaintances at the art class and at NAMI. I have a lot of friends who I'm at the class, but sometimes I'll have bad days, as everybody with mental health does. So I definitely, a lot of the people at the class, if not everybody, I'm friendly with. So I don't have any enemies there. Sometimes I'll be sick, but I wouldn't say I have anybody who's an enemy. In fact, they're all very friendly, and I would consider them friends or acquaintances who I'm friendly with. So I don't think they're definitely friendly acquaintances to eat, and some even friends. So but yeah, some days I'll be sick. Yeah, I wouldn't say I alienate people, but this past Tuesday, for example, I was a little bit ill. Ugh. La, 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 la. So Patrick says you were a little bit ill, Andrew. You were screaming in your car. Tell me the truth. Yeah, that's a good point, Patrick. That's a good point. I was more than just a little ill. That's a good point. So it says become a sweater vendor on the streets. Start selling sweaters. I do have all the best sweaters, that's for sure. Sim says you'll be talking to people all day, making money. Start selling sweaters. All right. Patrick says you don't see that you need the meds to avoid that. Frankly, the meds are we'll see what happens tonight. Obviously, tonight we'll see what happens at uh, like in 12 or so hours. But most likely, I'm probably going to take the meds because my parents are kind of giving me no choice. But Patrick says you don't see that you need the meds. Um, Patrick said, "No, I probably am going to take it because it'll just be a big fight with my mother and father if I don't." But let's not. I mean, but they say you need to want to take it not because your parents are forcing you. You need to take it because you want to take it. I mean, you want to take because it's keeping you well. You're screaming in the car, "Tell me the truth," and you're alienating some people at your classes and at the gym, and if you want to be healthy, take your medication. Take it because you want to be healthy, not because your parents are forcing you. Yeah, my mother threatened to stop cooking for me if I didn't take my medication. I don't think she actually will, though. She threatened it at least. Patrick says you never stay compliant unless you come to terms that you need the medication. You need to realize you need the medication. Take your medication, Andrew. I've taken the Abilify 10 milligrams for about a year now, compliantly. Well, my father watches me, but I've taken it compliantly basically every day for a year now. And now they want me to add a mood stabilizer. Abilify is an antipsychotic, and now they want me to add a mood stabilizing medication on top of it. And Lamictal is the mood stabilizing medication that they added, but now I'm getting adverse side effects. And I don't want to take it, but they say you need it. Yeah, I call him through Signal. I call him through a video chat, and he watches me take it. Because the reason was because in November 2022, I came off my medication, and for most of 2023, I was not taking my meds. So I think as a result, he he watches me take it to make sure I take it. I mean, it's a little bit of honor system. I could fake it. I'm not faking it, but but he does watch me take it, and I take it. Patrick says Dr. Garrett put in Andrew's head that people can recover from schizoaffective without meds. Andrew got it stuck in his head that he can recover off meds. Somebody says, wasn't the mood stabilizer prescribed a year ago? Yeah, Dr. Copland prescribed it a while ago. Actually, no, not a year ago. He's prescribed it a few months ago. Cinnamon says, if Andrew wants to be on minimal medications, then it's his choice and he has to live with the consequences. No one should be pressuring Andrew into taking medications. Somebody says, yeah, it's like Adderall. Medicate them until they are vegetable minds. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't want to be medicated into a chemical lobotomy, a vegetative state. But my parents start off, all you have to take is Abilify 10 milligrams. Now you got to take the Lamictal. Pretty soon they're going to be adding fucking Latuda and Invega. Pretty soon I'm going to be on the fucking mega regimen again. Where do I put my foot down and say enough is enough? I'm not taking these fucking medications. You know what I mean? Where do I put my foot down? And I want to put my foot down here. Somebody says you can put your foot down and not take medications by getting financially independent, moving out, and getting your own place, which obviously you can't afford at the moment. Patrick says if you put your foot down, fine, but you got to move out of their house. Gina asks, have you gone off your medications in the past? If so, how did that go? Yeah, I came off my medications in November 2022 after taking a mega regimen for about 10 years. And I was in the hospital in January 2023 and again in March of 2023. And I was pretty sick for 2023. Some people say that's the evidence that I need the medication. But I was also very solitary, too. So I don't know. Patrick says Andrew came off his medications and it went terribly. Somebody says, Andrew, you're a vegetable mind. Andrew, you're a vegetable mind. Somebody says, it's your parents' place. It's their rules in the end. That's true. If I don't like it, be homeless, go to the psychiatric hospital. It's learned helplessness. If I, they get, I mean, if I don't like taking the meds, then don't live here. Gina says she likes vegetables, but from her garden, not from the store. Yes. Patrick says you live there rent free, so the least you can do is take the medications your doctor prescribed. Patrick, I'm going to hit the catchphrase. Fair enough. Patrick, somebody says the snap, and the fair enough is like comment dismissed. Pete says, what's up, my impatience? What's going on, Pete? How art thou? How art thou, Pete? So Pete asks, did your mother pick out a nice group home for you yet? Not yet, Pete. Not yet. Patrick says, I want you to be successful, but you down deep don't want to be. Somebody says, Peter says, try doing nice things for your mother. Women hate everyone, but if you treat them like a queen, Patrick says, I think so. And I think the group home is going to be called Homelessness in the Streets. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds, but all right, guys. I guess I'm gonna wrap up this live stream. Do you have any other questions or comments for me, or should I hit the old dusty trail and get ready for NAMI? Hopefully, I don't wind up homeless, guys. Hopefully, I don't wind up homeless. So let's not wish homelessness on me, because that's obviously worse than taking medications and being dependent on your parents. Somebody says, are you seriously going to take the Lamictal tonight? I'll live stream it. You can watch me. I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Somebody says, get ready, Andrew. You're not going to be homeless. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. Thank you very much for wishing me the best. No, I'm going to. I'll certainly live stream around that time, and you could witness me putting the pill in my mouth and swallowing it. You can witness it. So I got it right here. I got the 12.5 right in here, chopped up from yesterday. You can see it right there. I'll take it tonight. So I'll pop that. All right, guys. Peace out.